What does every Xbox have in common? They're all built on PC hardware. But the Xbox 360, it was built on Mac hardware. This is the story of the most unlikely partnership in gaming history. This is the Xbox 360. The one I have here is the 360 Slim model. The original 360 came out in 2005, and the Slim came out in 2010. It's a 7th generation console, meaning it competed with the PS3 and with the Wii. The Xbox 360 was, of course, vastly more powerful than the Wii, and a bit more powerful than the PS3, thanks to having doubled the RAM. Speaking of RAM, it's time for some tech specs. The 360 used a PowerPC tri-core xenon processor and 512 megabytes of RAM. Pause. You know what else uses PowerPC chips, right? Yeah, Apple's Mac computers. PowerPC is basically a different architecture for computers. While most PCs are built on x86, PowerPC was IBM and Apple's alternative. It was simpler and more efficient. Apple used it in Macs for years, but it's not exclusive to Macs, they're just the most common usage. A lot of game consoles, including the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, Nintendo GameCube, Wii, and Wii U, use this architecture. It even went to Mars. NASA's Curiosity and Perseverance rovers run on radiation-proof PowerPC chips. So if several game consoles have used this architecture, what makes the 360 different? The secret lies in its development. Every game console has a beta kit that is given to studios so they can test their games. These aren't too rare, you can find them on eBay for around $500. But the alpha dev kits are more interesting. An alpha kit is used for in-house development and early game prototyping. And the Xbox 360 dev kit was literally a silver PowerMac G5 tower, customized by Microsoft. The PowerMac G5 is the most powerful PowerPC Mac that Apple ever built, and it was also the last one. That's right, as game consoles were moving toward PowerPC, Apple was moving away from it. So for a brief period in time, the Xbox and the Mac were cousins. What happened is Microsoft bought a truckload of these Macs, literally, replaced the graphics card and hard drive, soldered a controller adapter onto it, and installed a custom build of the 360's Blades firmware. When Microsoft demoed the Xbox 360 at E3, the games were actually running behind the scenes on these Macs. Isn't that crazy? Alright, now I'm going to show you the inside of the Xbox. So if you open up your Xbox, the motherboard has both the CPU and the GPU on it. On the original Xbox 360, the CPU and the GPU are separate chips covered with separate heatsinks. On the Xbox 360 Slim, the CPU and GPU are combined onto one die and covered with one much bigger heatsink. The model I have is the Xbox 360 Slim. If you want to see everything else that's inside an Xbox, I'm making a video next week where I do a full teardown of the Xbox 360 Slim. So subscribe to Wolf Byte if you want to see that. Speaking of the Xenos GPU, it's one of the coolest GPUs in a console, ever. It was basically a prototype for later ATI models. Before this, GPUs had separate pixel shaders and vertex shaders. Xenos introduced unified shaders, which let all the shader cores do either job. This is much faster, and it's still standard today, but the Xenos was the first GPU to do this. NVIDIA adopted unified shaders a year later, and they still use them on the 50 series today. The GPU also had 10 megabytes of embedded RAM, which let the Xbox 360 pull off 4x anti-aliasing, which straightened out jagged lines and made the picture smoother. Many PCs struggled with this at the time, and some still do. All this combined let the 360 run smoother and more consistently than the PlayStation 3. For example, let's consider a game that pushed the Xbox 360 to its limits, Portal 2. This game came out 6 years after the Xbox 360 did, and it also released on PS3. Both consoles targeted 30 frames per second, but the Xbox 360 could keep that up much longer than the PS3, thanks to the GPU and increased RAM. The GPU also compensated in Kinect games, where the CPU had less overhead thanks to more inputs to process, but that's a topic for another video. So there you have it. The Xbox 360 was truly one of a kind, with futuristic technology and unique development. It's also the only Microsoft product that was built using an Apple product, and the only modern game console that was prototyped on a Mac. All those technologies and design choices work together to make the Xbox 360 the definitive and best-selling Xbox ever, to this day. And remember, if you want to see inside this thing, I have a video coming out next week where I'll show you a full teardown and hardware review. If you want to see it, subscribe. You can always change your mind later. That's all for now. I'll see you next time on Wolf Byte.